Who child? Can I go first when it's
Mm-hmm.
time to talk about what's going on in life?
You having a day?
Yep.
Oh, bless your heart.
Absolutely.
Can we just have Terry Wayne jump in? I'm ready to talk about my day. Oh.
Oops. Oops. Hang on just a second. Let me get trouble connecting. Can you hear me?
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. Good. Okay, cool. So not to not to surprise anybody, but I'm gonna tell you this is gonna be my last episode.
Top of the world, top of the world, yeah, top of the world, top of the world, yeah, top of the world, top of the world, yeah, top of the world, top of the world, yeah, top of the world.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Worst Ones Podcast. This is the podcast for us preacher's kids to come and be the absolute worst. My name is Rudy Wilson. I'm a preacher's kid. Kellie Lee's in the building. She's a preacher's kid. Jay Rihanna's in the building. She's a preacher's kid. And Terry Weezy, for the last time, is here. And he is a preacher's kid. Kellie Lee,
Yes.
as requested, you had a day today, so you wanted to go first.
Go for it.
So
my day
let's hear
doesn't-
about it.
My day doesn't even really matter anymore. I think.
Oh, I want to hear about it. Tell me. Come on, let's make this good. Tell me what's up. What happened?
I mean, it was just regular adulting things. But to be honest with you, in your announcement, Terry, we talked last week and said, I think I asked. So I guess one day we'll have the conversation with Terry about what's next. And someone else said, there's only two people, but someone else said, I think Terry is preparing his departure.
And it's out of love.
Point.
It's just, you know.
I know you said it. We know. Rudy said it. But like I said, but to your point, just in right, you've entered another chapter of life. You're going to be a dad. I say you're already a dad, but that's debatable. People say whatever, but I think you're already dad. You're going to be a dad. You have different responsibilities, a new job. You just moved. Like we completely get it. Like you said, it's been
Don't forget to throw in a father with Parkinson's. So
right. You stuck with this right through. Your dad. And so I think we knew this time was coming.
mhm.
I think looking ahead for me, it's and I'm gonna cry just because I've just had a hard day today.
I want to know what happens.
And I'm just in an emotion. I mean, just adulting. My refrigerator is broken. My toilet is making sounds. The trash man didn't come today, and so I hit someone's trash can trying to pull into my garage and knock my mirror off. It's the end of the school year.
Oh man.
Yes, and I'm sorry for missing the last couple of weeks. I just got so busy with work and trying to run this place. It's 130 employees I'm in charge of, and it's a lifestyle
Hey, Terry,
thing.
we're gonna get to you. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and let them. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
And I think I 100% get it. I think we all 100% know. Again, we knew that it was coming. Heck, if we're honest, how many times with this almost in the past 3.5 years, and so to your point, I appreciate all that it's been. Oh, and I'm just emotional today, so let me have a moment. That it's been.
You have your moment.
Thank you. For the last almost 4 years, I think we were all in different places when we started this in COVID. We've all, had moves and family things and relationships go up and down and all around and, hair grow and disappear and button up shirts and t-shirts and we've had to also weight up and down. I would love to see my last 4 years of my weight going up and down, up and down. You can see it in my face every week. But I really have, even in those times that I didn't want to show up, I really have looked forward to just the four of us coming together on Wednesdays afternoons. Even today, in all the craziness of my day, I was like, man, I can't wait to get on there and tell them today. Who knows the fate of the rest of the podcast? Who knows that if we're still the worst ones without you, Terry?
Well, and I would love to come back whenever I'm available. It's just a time issue. That's it. And
No,
I definitely we're all right. I'll wait till my time.
You're a real live adult here. You're a real live adult here, and so definitely get it. Like I said, today is just adulthood is just taking over.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. You just do what you can.
One thing is another, Lord Jesus, but no. Super happy for you, Terry.
Thank you. I
know this isn't the end. I want you to post more and more on Instagram now so that we can follow along with what's going on now that we won't hear an update every Wednesday. But like I said, no, I'm happy for you. I'm excited for little Terry Wayne Jr.
No, definitely not going to be that.
I knew you were going to say that. But yeah, like I said, but again, I appreciate you all. This has definitely been a blessing. We knew this day was going to come day one. But it definitely feels like, I don't know how the worst one goes on without Terry.
It's funny that you say that because my other podcast partner on the blamegirlpodcast.com, if when I announced the news on there, I kind of blindsided her with it. And I just made it because I do a segment on that podcast called Words for White People where I try to address the issues that maybe my fellow honkies need to work on. And I made that about it. I made it about parenting and then I announced it. And she goes, her first reaction was like, well, that's the end of this podcast. And she's like, so I guess you guys knew something that I didn't. But
yeah, like again, we knew it was coming. And I definitely feel like, the three of us could go on, but will we really truly ever be the worst ones without Terry? Terry is the worstest one. And I know that's not a word. But he is the worstest one.
That's true. I am the worstest.
And so I don't, it'll absolutely never be the same without you.
Kellie, I definitely knew you had some on your mind because you was the first one here. You was on time today. I was ready to talk about it.
I was waiting for you to I'm like, what a link. Usually I go brush my hair.
I'm about to say you was the first one here. You was actually sitting down waiting. Normally, even if you here first, you walking off doing something else.
Usually I go brush my hair. I go brush my teeth. I go wash my face. I ain't do none of that today. Today I just said that.
You was ready to get started without people. Like, can we just go ahead and start recording?
Because that's how much, I may see and talk, definitely see some of you guys more than I see some of my closest friends. For sure, and so I think we've all been such a big part of each other's lives for the last 3.5 years, whether we realize it or not. I know sometimes it felt routine. Sometimes we just knew that at 7:00 on Wednesdays that we're here, whether we wanted to that day or not. But for majority of them, or we forgot or fell asleep, or the times that I wasn't gonna make it unless I was on the couch, or whatever. I think I'm the only one who hasn't had a change of scenery. I think I've been here pretty consistently. I need some change in life, apparently.
You missed a few.
You did it from your parents' house one time.
Oh, one time?
That's
okay.
True.
Okay, good. Yeah. Everybody else had to change the scene. I got the same blue wall with these cricket. But yes, I was ready today to be with my worst ones family, because I needed this moment with you all. It's like my mini therapy sometimes. Just knowing that we'll have these conversations in this time. So again, who knows what will move forward. We'll never, like I said, you are the worstest one. I will give you that superlative today. The last day of school when you hand out superlatives, Terry
That's
gets
right.
that one.
I'm
So
the
I don't
worstest one. I couldn't be prouder to have it.
know. But no, I'm
All
happy
right.
for you.
All right, Jay Rihanna, how was your week? And we'll just for moving forward, we'll get to the Terry Wayne goodbyes in a second, everybody. Let's just real quickly go to
That
your
was
week
such
and then
a shocker. We had this.
No, let's
I know,
keep it on me.
I know.
That's fine.
No, I'm saying, but just to get through this part, and then we'll love on Terry and do our Seinfeld
All right.
goodbye.
Fair enough.
Okay.
My week's been hectic per norm, but I did get some rest over the long holiday. We actually didn't have like a big cookout this year or anything, so that was kind of refreshing. But I mean, I did go hang out with my sister. I think I told y'all last week my brother's girlfriend was in town, so got to spend time with her. Worked on some DIY projects around the house, so just really chill. I'm a little bit in awe of myself because life been lifing for me too, but typically I'd probably be a puddle somewhere, but I'm just I can control what I can control, and hopefully tomorrow the rest will get done. So I'm not complaining. It's been pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
Now I did have a question for Terry though.
What's that?
So I done got my book in my Amazon cart.
Okay. Oh, all right, good.
Before I proceed to check out, do you ship them? Because I wanted mine signed.
I don't ship them. No, it comes from a.
You got to go to the baby shower.
Yeah. If you come here, I'll sign you one. Sure.
Well, let me go ahead and press purchase so I can be the last one to get the book.
Even if you don't come to the baby shower, if you send it to me, I will personalize it and send it right back to you.
Okay, we'll do that. But
we'll figure it out.
Is
I'm
placed.
sure that I will be in Atlanta at some point in the future.
Well, my book should be here on Friday. So now all the worst ones have the book.
Nice. Good. Good.
As for me, my week was fine. Nothing out of the ordinary for myself. I had to work Monday. I didn't get a Memorial Day weekend, but I mean, my job's pretty easy. So, is it really work? Trying to think what else. I mean, me directly, nothing really out of the ordinary happened. We had a little tragedy kind of strike my family with one of my cousins. Her boyfriend and father for one of her kids was shot and killed on their doorstep. So that was a lot. Yeah, that was a lot.
Was it your sister?
My cousin.
Oh,
one of my cousins. Yeah. It was her boyfriend and the father of her youngest child.
Wow.
So yeah, and that particular set of cousins, meaning like the siblings, they've dealt with a lot of tragic deaths throughout their life. The younger brother several years ago, their dad a couple years ago. It's been a lot on them. So just keep them in your prayers. But it's like I said, as far as me directly, same old, still doing shows, still working.
Well, I'm sorry about the timing then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good. It's as Bishop James H. Morton Sr. would say, God is still on the throne. And so we rest in that. Amen. But today, as we shift over to hearing about Terry and his week in life, and even as we then begin to go down memory lane today, for those of y'all who were listening in our pre-show, it is our farewell Terry Wayne episode, where we say not even just a goodbye, but
see you later
and the well wishes to the good brother Terry Weezy, the token white, who is
right.
who has a whole new journey that he's embarking on right now, and that we're happy for. So, Terry, you can go ahead and not only tell us how you've been since we've last seen you, but then if there's any more depth that you wanted to get into that you haven't already in reference to this transition that you're making. The
Sure.
floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. I had a big week at work because I don't just work for Cracker Barrel. I'm a manager for the flagship store. It's the oldest Cracker Barrel in America, and it's 5 minutes away from the corporate headquarters. Uh, it's a big community thing. Um, this town that I live in is named Lebanon, Tennessee. Lebanon, Tennessee. Um, and it was kind of built around this company. A man named Danny Evans originally started it back, I believe, in 63 or 73. I always transpose those two. But he started that company here and he started it with a community mindset. So, for instance, if you are to go into one of those stores and you buy and you say, I want toast, that toast was made by Bay's Bakery right here in Lebanon because they make all the sourdough bread for all 662 locations across the US. The same thing can be said for all the locksmithing and all the locks and all the things that are done. That is also a place that's right here next to Speedy Burrito, my favorite Mexican joint. BME is located here. That they do all their equipment work and all that stuff. And I could go on and on and on, but the fact is that this company kind of runs this town like the mob because their fingers are in everything. And they've been in trouble the last 4 years. The pandemic hit them really hard. Their stock price is about a third of what it was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, a share of stock for them would cost about $180. Today, it costs about $61, $62. So they're in trouble. But that's why I'm glad that I'm here and I can put my hands into it and maybe try and help. Uh, because the way I think about it is that if this company goes down, this whole community is going down. You want to get that? All right. Um, so if the company goes down, this whole community goes down. So just by going to work every day and doing 110% and really giving my all with the gifts and talents that the Lord has given me, I feel like I'm really doing something good. And I feel like it's one of those 80s movies I grew up on. Like, we're going to save this rec center. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to be a protagonist in this story. And I'm going to try and help as much as I can. And we are going to save this town. So.
Gotcha.
So that's what my
Gives
life
you
has been like. And
right.
their corporate store is the one that I work at. And that's the one that needs to be turned around a little bit and reset and a new standard set. Um, so I'm a part of that. So we had a big reset meeting with the entire 130 person staff and all the management. And so I spent yesterday 8 hours locked in a hotel room with all the other managers trying to figure out, trying to game plan exactly how we're going to do this. But I'm confident. And even though I've already faced challenges thus far, and I'm sure you guys can tell just from knowing me for this long that I can be quite vexing and challenging, especially when I think I'm right. I'm looking at you, Janessa. And and I can be quite vexing, but I just want you guys to know that even when I am vexing and even when I am, it's only because I feel like I'm trying to do good. So it all comes from good intentions in a good place. Uh Either with you guys or with work or whatever. I'm just trying to be the best man I can be. And soon I'm going to try and be the best father I can be. And that's why, unfortunately, I had to step back for a while. I hope you guys keep it going. I would love to come back whenever I'm available to. I definitely want you I want my son to make an appearance on here, which October 21st. And I hope he's 10 days late because I would love to have a Halloween baby.
There you go.
Um, you know,
Oh,
we're
Terry.
already
The worst
that
is one.
that that yes, that matches me and my wife's personality so perfectly. So we're hoping that he stays in there 10 days more than he's supposed to. But I definitely want you guys to meet my son. I'd love for him to make an appearance and give him his first credit. Uh, but yeah, so that's where I'm at. And it's really more about work that I'm stepping back because it's a trying job. It's 50 hours a week and schedules fluctuate. Like for instance, I have to wake up at 4:30 tomorrow to be there to open the shift at 5:30. And you can't just be bouncing around doing all the things that you want. And it is something that I want. I really prefer to stay, but I think I tried it as much as I could for the last few months, and it's just getting to the point where I have to make decisions, and I'm hoping that I'm making all the right ones. But at least I feel like I am. So
That's what's
Gotcha.
important.
No, we respect it. We
yeah,
respect it. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's not like I mean, it's always good to be able to walk away from anything on your own terms. You know what I'm saying, and not
yeah,
forced
and
out
not
or
be
not
forced
because of
out.
beef or not because of falling outs or anything like that. So yeah, no, we totally understand. Like I said, we literally had this discussion last week, not on the podcast, but we talked about it after we were done recording. Because so even to your opening statement, if you're not sure if any of us are surprised, we're not. We didn't necessarily know it was coming today, but we definitely seen it coming down the pipeline for
Well,
sure.
I didn't want to do it in the group text. That
Well,
just
and
seemed
we
Right, right.
appreciate that.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we get it.
No,
No,
we
we get it.
appreciate
I'm
that.
just saying.
That's
I'm
good.
just saying. No, we felt it, and even to Kelly's point, like she was even, I believe that was Kelly listing off like the same stuff that you're saying right now. She was saying,
Mhm.
Terry got a lot going on. You got the baby coming, yada yada. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably just about that time for him. So it ain't no.
Which,
Yeah.
by the way,
Yeah.
not this Friday, but next Friday we do the anatomy scan, and that's the big moment when we actually, because all of the other ultrasounds and everything, you can barely see it. We nicknamed him the gummy bear because in the ultrasound it looked like a gummy bear, like the arms and legs were just forming. But next Friday, on the 7th, is that's the big one where we get to see like developmentally, like it'll be an actual baby. So
Oh, that's exciting.
yeah, it is. I had
That's
to
exciting.
switch shifts and get stuff, but I wouldn't care if I had to quit. This is my
Mhm.
first and only child. Because as
Yeah.
soon as he comes out healthy with 10 fingers, 10 toes, and a fully functional brain, I am getting cut as soon as that happens. Because we are one and done on this thing. Me and Miranda both. We are in agreement. So I wouldn't miss that opportunity for anything in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
Absolutely.
I would just let go and let God from whatever I needed to. So
Yeah.
gotcha.
Well, we appreciate you for finding the podcast important enough to switch some things around to be here with us today to let us know in person.
and
Um,
I owe you guys a big thank you, but I'm going to save it to the end. So if you're listening to this or watching it, stick around to the end because it's going to be a tearjerker.
Well, Kelly's tears have already been jerked.
right.
Yes, I know. Well, Kelly's the one. Kelly is that one to steal on.
I am. Yeah, I'm
She
the
just
crybaby
is. Yes, you are.
for sure.
If you're gonna steal from somebody, make sure it's Kelly because she ain't coming for revenge.
Well, let's take this stroll down memory lane. I guess so. Maybe we can. I don't know if there's an order we can necessarily do, but definitely maybe list any type of favorite Terry Wayne moments, memories, episodes.
Episodes, yeah,
Um,
just anything we talked
Kelly,
about.
why? If anything specifically that happened? I mean, there could be multiple, but any top specific moment that makes you want to give Terry, the worstest one.
So I think I gotta go. One, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the episode from the intro where his eyes get big. What episode was that?
That was the Jesus. Does Jesus get Morningwood episode?
And I don't I don't know if I've ever seen that episode. I wasn't there that day, and I don't know if I've ever seen that episode. So going back down memory lane, I'm gonna go back and watch that one. Two, I think some of my favorite moments. So I know Janessa and I were slower to warm up to this whole podcast thing, and Rudy and Terry carried us quite a ways in the beginning. But I think some of my favorite moments were probably the Terry and Janessa argument.
That was the one I was gonna pick. That was the one
you were
I
at the
was gonna pick.
salon.
I'm gonna save it.
Kelly was at the salon with her whole face covered. You just see her eyes doing this.
Very expressive. Kelly was very, very expressive with those eyes.
You showed up late.
There was a whole novel. There was a whole novel in those eyes.
You just hear Janessa saying, "Terry, you don't know me." Kelly is like,
I know, but you still have to care for a baby. You still have to breastfeed.
I know.
You still have to. So Terry, don't sit here and be like, it's not that bad.
I'm not minimalizing it. I'm saying that
don't even say that you understand, because you don't.
You're right.
Period.
I've never done it.
Terry, and leave the conversation.
You've never done it. What are you talking about? You've never done it. You don't.
I have not, but I have experienced things as a woman that you never will. And Terry,
and I've
for all
experienced
you know,
things
you don't
as a
even
man
know
you never will. But I'm not
know if I had a child or not. You don't know if I've had an abortion or not. Terry, you do not know me.
All right. There's no reason. I know you don't have kids. We've talked about this.
You don't know me. You don't know anything about me. Just because I didn't share that I have kids doesn't mean I don't have kids, Terry.
Wow. So you have secret kids?
And don't act like you know me.
Ooh, it was that. It's been a couple of them. I remember another one recently in the last couple of months, and I remember I was headed to a basketball game, and I had to switch to the phone, and my phone kept going in and out, and I just remember being so overstimulated because they were going back and forth. My dad was trying to call with directions. I was trying to figure out where I was. Like I said, and I'm like, why do I still hear them in the background going back and forth? Like, all right, I gotta go. Like for those moments, because again, like, I think Janessa and I have all as women, as preachers' kids, as preachers' daughters. Like I feel like we've had to censor ourselves a little more than you two, and so in those raw moments of Terry has taken Janessa here, and she about to go there with you. I think those are some of my favorite moments, knowing that Terry can take you there. And there's times where we love you dearly, Terry, wherever you went.
I'm still here. I just had to.
There's all moments where Terry has taken us there. Like really, like Terry that took us there today. You know, you
need somebody to take you there. You're not going to take yourselves there. So.
See, and that's why I say without you, I don't. You know, can we continue? Absolutely. But does the format look the same? No, because you're the one who brought like all of the tension in the arguments. Rudy and Terry fight all the time.
Yeah, we do.
You know, I'm not going to fight with you. I think it was one time where I got really passionate about something in the 4 years we've been here. Otherwise, I'm not going to fight. Without Terry, Janessa is not.
Who's she gonna yell at?
Right. So it gets kind of boring without you, to be honest. But yeah, so I think those were some of my favorite moments, like Terry just being able to take people there, you know, to that raw content that I know that like people want, you know, and I know you've always talked about me, like I'm always just the nice and the neutral, and I never pick a side or whatever you say about me.
No, you should be a therapist, is what I say.
Well,
because you just listen to it and you just absorb it and you just have good advice, and that's your calling, I think.
Yeah, but that's my job.
I know.
It works, right? So I know for me, I don't really hold the podcast together. I'm kind of boring, you know. I feel like you gave us the life because one, we all had similar church experiences. We all root kind of in the same place. You know, we all know the same people, all from Georgia. We all grew up in the black church. You know, like I said, three of us a long time, you know, friends, family, you know, whatever. Our families are best friends with each other and call each other by their first names, knew each other before we were born. Like so like I said, so we're all similar. You brought like I said, that different,
Challenge.
yeah, that different spice um to it all. But yeah, like I said, I think those are my favorite part. Those times where Terry can just take people like, oh my God, and so those, like I said, funniest times was Janessa going back and forth. Right.
Well,
I'm gonna go
sure.
back
I
and
mean, it
watch
didn't feel funny at the time. Like I felt threatened and triggered, but I don't feel safe. And no, but no, I appreciate you saying all that, and it's great. And I actually thought about you earlier today because I this isn't the only thing that's ending for me. Because I moved up here, I have to end my relationship with my therapist, who I've had since 2015, who helped me a lot with a lot of the problems that we've talked about on here that are in my life. And I had my last appointment. Well, what is supposed to be my last appointment, but you never really over. It's never really done,
Mm,
kind of a thing. But it's supposed to be my last appointment. And her thing is, she's in her mid 70s
mm,
and became like a surrogate mother to me over the years. Uh, and with people, when I started with her, I didn't have health insurance, and she takes on cases, especially people with PTSD like I do. So she takes on cases. She worked a lot with the Veterans Association, the VA hospitals, before she went into private practice. And so if people don't have health insurance, she just charges them $60 flat
nice.
at $1 a minute per episode.
Okay.
That's a really good price, right?
Right.
It is, and I paid her $60 once every 2 weeks, and then once every week for a while, and then once every 2 weeks again, just depending on where I was in my life. So I had my last appointment with her this past Friday, and she said, and she's happy about where I'm at and the positivity that I'm showing for the rest of my life and the excitement that I have now and how much I love my wife and how much I'm dedicated to her and how much I'm excited about being a father and planning and she's really grateful and happy about that. And I told her, I said, yeah, I'm spending $60 just to sit on here and brag for an hour. Uh, but I was very appreciative to her and everything she's done for me. And I told her because when I left, I was still having a bunch of issues. And she said, I remember the last time I talked to her in person, she said, I just feel bad. And I said, why do you feel bad? She's like, because I feel like I failed you.
Mm,
And whoo, that got to me bad,
yeah.
uh, because again, it's like a surrogate mother for me.
Hmm.
And I got to tell her, I was like, you didn't fail. You just didn't succeed the way you thought you were gonna.
Hmm.
Because you didn't win, I won. I brought the game back and I won. What you did was you kept me in the game
Mm,
so
mm,
that I could win.
mm,
And I thought about you because I had to mail her $60
mm.
because she's an old woman and she doesn't know
Right.
how Venmo works. That's true. It's true. She doesn't know how Venmo or Cash App works, which, anyway, regardless of that, when you mail cash, it's very hazardous. You're not supposed to mail cash because
Mm,
they don't want the postman stealing it. So I wrapped it in a piece of paper. That's what you're supposed to do. You trifold a piece of paper, put your cash in the middle, and then just send it like that. That's what they
mm,
tell you to do. But I thought, well, this is an opportunity. So I just wrote a little note in there that, and I thought about you because I know what you do. And I was like, this kind of, I should tell this story tonight. I
yeah.
just wrote a little note and I said, there is no envelope large enough to hold what it is that I owe you.
I love that.
And I just sent her $60, and I hope she feels good
Yeah,
about it.
I'm sure she will.
And speaking of books, there were two original manuscripts
Mhm,
based on the actual writing, and one of them was an editor's manuscript, the one that gets red penned and corrected and all
mhm.
that. She has that one, and I signed it for her.
Nice.
So if the book ever does take off in the future, that's going to be worth a fortune.
Yeah. But Unclaimed Ashes is gonna have this sweet story too.
That's right. That's right. The turning of the page,
Right.
the leaf
No,
is turned over.
but I want to say this too, and I'm gonna let somebody else go. In addition to Terry being able to take you there, in terms of being upset and then back and forth, I've also appreciated your vulnerability, your transparency, your honesty over the last 3.5 years. Um, you know, you have your funny moments, and you're a comedian, and your random comments and those things, but you've also shared with us, um your mom, your dad, your nephews, you and your autism, and what that look, you've shared so much of you in your life, with us, that I also appreciate that level of transparency and vulnerability. Even tears, you crying, and showing that level of emotionality, I think means so much, even when it's about your favorite pastor, in the entire world. What's that man name in Texas?
Big Joel.
Oh, yeah. Joel Osteen,
Big
baby.
Joel.
Joel
Old
Osteen had to,
Joel
Joel
Osteen
Osteen will
out there
also take
making
you
that
there as
money.
well.
He was making that money off people's hope and faith.
We're not gonna get you started today. But again,
I,
like I said, in in my favorite Terry moments, again, it's is you being able to take people left, but you being able to be honest and transparent and vulnerable, with us at the same time, and you trusting us with that, because I know right now it's just six of us that kind of watch it, but when it is 60 million, 600 million, that watch it as well, like I think that people will hear your story, and really it'll really resonate with them, and they'll relate to that, and so I thank
you
you for
know,
that as well.
I'm gonna stop you right there, cause I swear I'm about to lose it.
I'm
Cause
sorry.
I never, as smart as I am, and I have a high IQ. I was in Mensa. I have an IQ of 153, but I'm working on, ever since I saw that pink strip on that pregnancy test, I'm working on my EQ because that needs to be just as high,
Mm-hmm,
which is the emotional.
mm-hmm,
For people that don't know, IQ is an intellectual quantitative, and then an EQ is the emotional quantitative. So I'm trying to balance those two things out. And I got to tell you, after almost 4 years, I never thought of it that way. Is that that was my way of showing you guys that I trust you and that I appreciate you by being honest. I just felt like, you know, and you mentioned tears and all that. And it's so hard because coming from where I came from, growing up in the 80s and then growing up in the 90s and all that. And it was a man had to be a man kind of a thing. Like you just shut up, put your shoulder down, go to work. Put your shoulder down and get into it and do it. Forget about that. What are you crying? What are you, pussy? You know what I mean? Like that was very much the way I grew up. But then I realized that you don't have to do that. Like
mm-hmm,
you can be like I climbed a mountain once, killed a bear, butchered it, skinned it, and carried 200 pounds of it down on my back down 6,000 feet. That's as manly as you get. But you know what? I also love Broadway musicals. I love American literature. Uh, and I've been to beautiful places in the world, like the Vatican and St. Paul's Cathedral in London, and I've seen the Sistine Chapel and the Eiffel Tower. Like, you don't have to be a man. You don't have to just be that singular monolith of I go to work and I hunt and fish and I'm manly and masculine and that. You can be a renaissance man. You can be masculine and sensitive. You can own your feelings and control them. You can do all of these things. Anyone can. I am not special. I do not have cerebral powers that you don't have. You can do literally anything that you want as a man or a woman, and you can be whomever you want, and you owe no apologies or excuses or explanations to anyone. You will face God just like the rest of us, and you will take stock of your own life. So if anybody ever tries to tell you, like, what are you, gay? Or what are you, a girl? What are you, pansy? You know what? They're only saying that out of their own insecurities. And you need to look past that and be whoever it is that you want to be for whatever reason.
Hey y'all, sorry to interrupt, but we have a few church announcements. Follow us on Instagram at TheWorstOnesPK. New content coming soon. We also have a TikTok at TheWorstOnesPK. No content yet, but continue to check us out. If you want to, when you listen to our podcast, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Just make sure you type in The Worst Ones Podcast and you'll find us. And when you get there, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and you share. Thank you to our 500,422 followers. We love you so much. Now, back to the show.
First, I'll say my, memorable moments with Terry would be our very first and second episode. I think me and Kellie were mute 95% of the time.
Yes, it was very much the me and Rudy show.
At one point, I remember you and Rudy were going back and forth for like an hour, it felt like. And I want to say me and Kellie were texting on the side, like, so about this.
What are we supposed to do here?
Yeah, like it was weird for us, but it was still quite entertaining to watch you and Rudy go back and forth. And I honestly think, yes, the worst ones can go on, but I think the dynamics between the four of us is special because even the fact that Rudy is the one who will go there with you, and it's y'all are everybody here is very honest, but Rudy is definitely 10 toes down on everything he says. And so it just makes for an authentic conversation with passionate people. So I would say that we kicked it off with the bang, even though me and Kellie didn't know what was going on.
Wow.
And apologies for that, because me and Rudy definitely threw you guys into the deep end. You went from 0 to 100.
Very much so.
Yeah, but you eventually did it with aplomb. So congratulations to both of you.
Well, thanks. I think the Players Club episode was one of our first ones. And the Morning Wood one was one of our very, very early ones. So we really did come out this podcast game with a banger.
Yeah.
Of course, I would say anything with Creflo Dollar or Joel Osteen. It wasn't funny, but it was funny. It was just it was
funny. It's okay to say so.
It was funny. But I would say, because like Terry, you got so red and like you were just like on the brink of tears sometimes, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like this man is really not feeling Brother Joel or Creflo or anybody.
Very much not.
Or anybody, similar to them. So those were inside, like he just a little bit for me. Unlike Kellie, I did not enjoy getting into arguments with you. I do not like to argue. I do not like to be pushed to the limit or taken there, because if you go there, I'm going with you. And if you started, I'm finishing it.
That's what I enjoyed. Let me see her finish it.
Talking about some Mortal Kombat, finish him. I'm sure everybody else enjoyed it, but I really did not like going toe to toe.
You were my warrior queen.
That's not my character. And y'all, I'm sure after these 3.5 years, y'all know that I'll say what I need to say, but like, I don't wake up and choose violence like that. So Terry definitely kept me on my toes. And yeah, when you sent for me a few times, I had to come for you. So.
That's fine.
But I will cherish those memories, even though they were not my personal favorite memories. I will also say I really appreciate, and Kellie kind of touched on this. Yes, you have a different perspective than Kellie, Rudy, and myself, but I really felt like it added to our conversations. Even I think you, like when you were talking about your first wife, and I think you got married in Germany or something, or you were overseas.
Yeah, we did.
And just even like your father's ministry, how it started as in like a traditional kind of church setting, but then it became a travel ministry. And like, just those are perspectives that I don't think any of us kind of have. So it's, even though the three of us, we know the same people, we grew up in the same church, whatever, it's like you really had a different perspective that enhanced this podcast. And I found myself having to kind of pause and think about some things, because I was coming from my own perspective. And so I will say you definitely challenged me, even though I might not have always agreed, but definitely to look at things a little bit differently. So I appreciate what you brought in that aspect of it. Another good memory I have is seeing you perform at our 1-year anniversary. Because I think that whole weekend was really special. One, for us all to get together, because at that point we did it for a year. We had never even met, So, you taught Kellie how to cook pancakes, I believe, or you
Don't over mix them. That's the trick. Go ahead.
Should have learned.
Yeah.
Look at those.
And we got to meet your wife. At the time, I think y'all were just dating.
We were just dating. Yeah, we were just dating.
But we got to meet her, and then having, get to go to the comedy show and get to see you live in action. That was really fun to me, just because, y'all get on here, you crack jokes. You talk about your comedian lifestyles, but to be able to see it in action, and you were funny.
Hey,
you were funny, because I was a little I wouldn't say concerned, but I was just like, how is he going to handle this crowd? But you did great.
I do great in urban rooms. And
it's I think for me it was more so, it was like our church friends, and I was just like, now how is this gonna go?
Well, that's because I'm from Memphis, which means I'm blacker than all three of you. So.
Not quite, but and keep dreaming. But no, I really enjoy getting to see you live and see your talent, because you are multi-talented. I'm really glad that I was able to get the book today, and I'm holding you to it because I've been saying I wanted a signed copy. So you're an author, you're a podcaster, you're a comedian, you're a appraiser, you're a manager, you've had restaurants, like you are truly multi-talented. And I just wish you the best on all your future endeavors. I can't wait to meet the baby. I have something special for both your baby and Reese's baby. And I just hope you do come back, even if it's not in like a permanent capacity. I definitely want to see your shining face and see what you've been up to. And thanks, Terry. Like we said earlier, we did talk about this last week, and it was kind of like, well, we'll see how long this is going to go. But I wasn't anticipating it to be today. I think even Kellie said something of like, let's wait until the baby comes and then, or something like that. Like, we had really talked about it. But I don't think any of us thought the announcement would be today. So I'm just going to tell you now, I'll probably send you a long essay text with all the things I really want to say. But
Wow.
maybe not a long essay, but y'all know I can be a little long-winded. Maybe a voice text. But once I've kind of had some time to process everything, now that it's kind of real, but I want to publicly, of course, say thank you, Terry. I appreciate what you contributed to this podcast. You will definitely be missed, but I'll probably send you some extra words once I get my thoughts together.
Well, I certainly appreciate that, especially from you, because we have had our moments together, you and I. Um, and I did feel bad about those moments even at the time. I was like, well, I'm not trying to be mean, this is just my opinion, but I'm honestly glad that I was able to challenge you, because that's what life is, in my opinion. You need challenges, because that's what builds character, and that's what builds warriors, and that's what builds strength in us, because life is hard. Life sucks wall to wall. I mean, instantly. the moment you're born the moment you're born is an invasive thing, because you're in the womb originally, and you're in warm liquid and everything is calm and still, and then your first breath is an invasive thing. When you breathe that oxygen in, and it's cold, and it's harsh, and it's just an invasive thing. We come into this world crying because we don't want to be here. And then we leave this world crying because we don't want to go. And if I can make my little corner of the world even a little bit better through my issues, or through my pain, or through my what I've learned and my successes, that's that's bigger than life. That's legacy. you know that's legacy. And anybody who wants to see what I'm talking about, go to Terry Wayne Comedy on YouTube, and there are a certain number of videos there. I think there's 5 or 6, but those 5 or 6 videos that I put together over the years for birthdays or holidays or funerals and stuff like that, I put those up there so that the world will know exactly who I am, exactly where I've been and what I've done, and the people I've loved and the things that I've done for them. And those it's really important to me, those things. But the one that I put up there for my father was all about legacy. It was about that myself and my 2 sisters and my brother, we are his legacy, and all the things that he has done, and the tens of thousands of people that he has saved, and and the kids that he has turned around, and through his nonprofit organization, and shown the world to. And I mean, that's all we are. To quote the movie Gladiator, all we are is memories and dust. So try to make some good memories. And you don't have to be a business owner, comedian, author, this and that, and all the things that I have done. You don't have to do those, but if you want to do them, trust me, I don't have any powers that you don't have. All I have is a will that said I'm not going to stop. Okay? As long as I get the opportunity to wake up every morning, this is what I'm doing. And it's forward momentum every single day. So, Janessa, I appreciate your words, and I thank you for saying them. And they mean the world to me, to be honest.
No problem.
Your turn, Rudy.
Yeah.
Well, for me, couple things. I don't know if I'm gonna, I guess, necessarily name like a favorite or podcast episode moment, but I've said this a couple times before on the podcast, so I feel like it's only befitting to acknowledge it again.
Bring it, brother.
Even with me knowing Kellie and Janessa much longer than I've known you, pretty much my whole life. You were the first person who I reached out to when it came down to creating this podcast, because I had a thought for creating this podcast, had the name and everything, and your co-host for your other podcast, Blame Girl, reached out to me to be a guest on that podcast, and then that's when I
Hashtag Giovanni Neal. Go ahead.
Correct. And that's when I met you. And at some point in time during that episode, you mentioned that you were a PK. And so after that episode, I reached out to you, probably was through Instagram or something like that. And I was like, yo, I'm thinking about starting this Preacher's Kid podcast. I heard that you mentioned you was a Preacher's Kid on the episode I was on with y'all. Would you be interested in doing it? You was like, yeah, cool. And then reached out to Kellie. And then, of course, we all like to acknowledge the fact that I forgot about my god sister, Janessa. But Risa was like, hey, what about Janessa? So then I reached out to Janessa, and then boom, here the four of us came together and been here like the last 3.5 years. So even I have said that a couple of times before, and even bring it up again tonight, just to even acknowledge the fact that there was definitely purpose in you being here, because me having the idea, I didn't really know how to kick it off. I didn't really know like the format. I didn't really know who to reach out to or whatever like that. But you know, God ordained our paths to cross, and so it, like I said, it helped spark the flame, which then became this podcast as we know today as The Worst Ones. And then even moving forward, you know, once we hit the 1 year mark and we all met up in Atlanta, and that was all of our first times meeting you in person, because we had only talked via Zoom or StreamYard as we use it right now. And so even that whole breakfast thing, I thought was pretty dope. You know, to not only experience, you know, your cooking skills, but even just to be able to link up and just, you know, just have that moment in person, and all of us just being able to come together and do that live episode, which was almost kind of similar to now. It was kind of more of us just, you know, just talking about the good times and enjoying each other's company. So I thought that was pretty dope. I do appreciate, just like Kellie mentioned, you know, your vulnerability, even just, you know, sharing all of, you know, your, just say hardships in life, current and past. You know, even just kind of, you maybe even using this platform as a bit of, you know, therapy, and even kind of just using us as, you know, low-key therapists, you know, for somebody to talk to. So you definitely can feel free to mail each one of us $60 a piece.
$60. I need $60 times. How many episodes?
And then of course, you know, our back and forths or whatever, I never really looked at back and forth because me, you know, I guess to Janessa's point of me standing 10 toes down, like, I mean, with me being opinionated, I don't necessarily mind going back and forth with anybody about something that I kind of stand for, believe, or disagree with or whatever. So, you know, and there was definitely plenty of times that me and you was going back and forth, and the ladies would just listen to us, that I never even looked at it as us just dominating in, like, as it's happening in real time. Of course, once we come out of it, and then we look like, dang, we didn't even get the ladies a chance to talk. But like while we were in it, I never felt like, man, I wish Terry would stop arguing back and forth so I could stop going back and forth with him. Like we was going for it, you know. And I thought it was pretty cool. Even the episodes where we did the worst of the worst ones, when the ladies took a break and it was just us two, like that, you know, even those old times even just showed that we can just do the episodes together, because we would argue for an hour anyways.
Okay, but they weren't as good, but okay.
So, no, but I'm just saying, like, I think that's what gave us the confidence to say, okay, well, we'll just do those 2 weeks together, because we were like, yeah, let's just I guess I didn't mind the banter. I didn't mind the back and forth.
No, we needed it. I think we
Yeah.
both needed it, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I appreciated it. I can appreciate somebody who stands firm on what they believe. I not only have you been crowned with the worstest one, but you've also been crowned with the one and only person on here who created a whole new book of the Bible, Second Acts.
Second Acts. Acts 2.
I think that's pretty special.
It is. Yeah, y'all didn't know I was a disciple, but I was. Previous life.
And the many scripture lists quote.
Right.
Scriptures.
That's right. That's exactly right.
But I definitely appreciate your efforts, even the times that when you were like either you're responsible for coming up with the topics, or even just making the sacrifice to show up even these last few weeks and months, in spite of all that you got going on. It's definitely appreciated, and it's definitely once again, even going back to the root of the creation of this podcast, like I said, God allowing our paths to cross. And mind you, we were doing comedy in the same vicinity, and our paths had never even crossed when I was in South Florida as well at the time. But just being able for it to cross during the pandemic, and then being able to create this podcast, like I said, it was definitely purpose in it. And then even your perspective, as the ladies have already acknowledged, that was different from ours, because we all grew up pretty similar with our church experiences. Like I said, definitely appreciated. So I definitely wish you well. I'm sure this won't be the last time that we'll hear from you in life, whether it be this podcast or outside of it. But I'm definitely happy for you. I'm definitely proud of even just being able to make this type of hard decision, for the sake of your family and your wife and your kid, and your goals and dreams, and even hoping and that you not only help Cracker Barrel's
home store,
help Cracker Barrel's goals and their agenda, but even with your own restaurant, just getting that off the ground at some point as well, to be able to build your own legacy even with that. So once again, congrats to you, man.
Maybe.
And and I'm, like I said, I'm happy for you, and I know you'll be all right. So let's close it out with your tearjerker.
Okay, I know we're going a little long, and that's fine.
Yeah. So let me. Instead of our normal Janessa's Jewels, we'll let you close this out. So let me single you out here.
And I thought about this. Yeah.
Terry's token.
I had Terry's tips. You like tokens better?
Terry's token.
We need a
I'm actually gonna name it, if you don't mind, and
Okay.
it's Timeless Terry, because this is timeless words.
Amen.
And this is all about you guys, because my therapist who helped me wasn't the only one, and my envelope for you guys couldn't be bigger, because you were there too, and you helped me too. Can you take me off full screen, please? And because I'd like to see faces if I could. And you guys helped bring me back, okay? Because after my mom's suicide, a part of me died, okay? And a part of me went away, and that was my emotions kind of just dulled to a point. And I think it was just, and Kellie will appreciate this, I think it was just a defensive mechanism, because I couldn't get hurt like that again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it challenged It challenged a lot of things in me. It challenged my faith. It challenged my faith in humanity. And at times, yes, it challenged my will to even stick around. And it was a very hard cross to bear. It was a very, very hard cross to bear. But over time, people came into my life through comedy or personal things and this and that. But I kind of just trudged through it all for about 10 years. I just kind of trudged through and just kind of made it. But when the pandemic hit and the world changed, I was like, there was some part of my subconscious that just said, this is an opportunity, you know, because it seems like the world is resetting, you know, because we all, it was the only time in my life when the entire planet, not just America, not just Tennessee, not just Florida or wherever, the entire world faced the exact same problem together. We did that as a species. And I guess a part of my subconscious said, dude, this is the opportunity that you've been waiting for 12 years.
Mm.
Because that all that happened in 2008. As we know, the pandemic hit in 2020.
Mhm.
Uh, and excuse me. Um, and it all kind of came to fruition at the same time. And I feel like God put the work in, and I feel like I suffered and struggled for a long time with these things, but I also feel that now he's rewarding me. He's saying, good job.
Mhm.
Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for staying in there and doing your work. Because now I have a woman who I absolutely love with every fiber of my being. And I'm not just saying that because she's on the couch over there. Um, and she's pregnant and she needs to hear it. But he gave me a child. He gave me a child that I foretold when I was 14. I think I remember saying, and I remember having the thought uh, that I'm gonna have one child when I grow up, and it's gonna be a son,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna name him Cole. Uh, his full name actually is Colin James Bomar, Cole for short,
Mhm.
because I think that's a good, strong name.
It's a nice
He will
strong.
not be named Terry, that's for sure. And I feel like I suffered for all that so that I could have this time now. And I
Mhm.
feel like everything that I have done that has led me here has been a broken road to lead me to what heaven can be like. And I feel like Providence brought me to this town so that I can do what I'm doing now. Um, and I don't mean to say that that dad gave my dad Parkinson's so that I would come here. I think that my dad got Parkinson's and God said, how can I turn this into a good thing?
Mm. Mm.
And led me to where I am. And I think he led me out of the darkness and out of the sticky, nasty tar that is human suffering. And when it gets on you, it's so hard to get off, you know? It really is. You can scrub and scrub and scrub all you want, but you're not going to get it off you until you have some sort of elixir, some sort of change. And whether you know it or not, but the three of you and this podcast and being able to talk about things it has led me there. So
Oh,
my envelope for you three couldn't. There is no envelope big enough.
oh, we love you,
Thanks,
Terry.
Terry. That was
Love
very
it.
We love you
heartfelt.
so much.
You're welcome.
Oh,
It's very well deserved on everybody's part because I am not easy to deal with,
God bless
and
your life.
that's true. And there is a and just to throw this in there because this just so happened to happen today, but my wife brought a show on Netflix to me called Atypical,
Mm-hmm. I've heard of that.
and she said you're not like that guy, but somewhere between Shane, who is my nephew, who is partial nonverbal autistic, and this guy, somewhere between those two, you exist. Because yeah, I mean, I've never been tested for it, so I don't know if I'm on the spectrum, but there's definitely something funny going on up in my house. I'm definitely not like, you know, everybody else for good or bad, better or worse. But I just want to let you guys know how much I appreciate you, how much I appreciate you letting me be a part of this, Rudy, especially because you brought me into this, and I believe that we were brought together
Absolutely.
by an external force um, that knew that I needed you and that I needed these two ladies and brought us together for this very special reason. And I feel like that we have accomplished goals, and I feel like it's mission accomplished. That's what I think. And I think I'm going to be a good father because of it. And I think
Oh,
my family's going to be better because of it. And I want to thank you guys for being there every week, even when we don't want to be, even when it sucks, even when we just have to just, you know, turn off the camera sometimes just to get a second or whatever. Like I know the challenges, and a lot of people who listen to this, or the few people who do, um, you know, they're never going to understand what it's like to just have a bad day and not want to do this and then still do it anyway. And I appreciate you guys for doing it. And I appreciate you for healing me and helping me grow and heal to so that now I can have what I feel like I was destined to have. And
no.
I couldn't have done it alone. I really couldn't have. So,
Glory be to God. I'll take my $60 in
amen to
all
that.
ones.
Yes.
He missed
Not
I'll
at
it.
take
all
I,
ones.
I take I take my $60 in all ones when you send it in the mail. Um, all
Why,
ones.
you
I
going to the
appreciate that.
Players Club? Is that what's happening?
I would appreciate that. All right.
Yeah.
So let's get out of here. One
We
last
love you,
time
Terry.
for Terry's sake. So Kelly, go ahead and let us know where you can be found and not followed.
You cannot
Uh,
find me. Well, no, you can find me, but you cannot follow me. Because I am still private at Princess Kels 51.
Amen. All righty.
You can find me and Theo at J Liana double underscore. We have fun over there.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how much fun he's having sitting here, but not at all.
No, none. Cats never care.
Let's
Um,
say bye, Terry.
yep, at the very last one, but at Terry Wayne Comedy on all social media platforms, you can find me. Go watch my videos on YouTube. That helps tremendously. Just the view count is something that I'm gonna try and get going in the future just because I can do it on my own schedule when I have time and whatnot and not be constrained by schedules and things. And then the book, as always, is on Amazon, Unclaimed Ashes. If you want, there's some good comedy in there at parts about I'll just spoil it a little bit about the part where I really wanted a JanSport backpack because those were very popular in the 90s. And my father gave me one of his old hard shelled square briefcases. And he's like, use this. And he sent me to school with a briefcase. And I went because I thought it was cool. because I was like, Dad. So in 5th grade, I took a briefcase to school. It did not work out well, and but you can read about those exaggerated stories in a novel form on Unclaimed Ashes on Amazon right now.
I'm going to have a book club and invite you back. We're going to actually read it now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
No,
in
there's
it,
comedy. There's comedy. There's tragedy. There's it's a good
yeah.
story.
And any of our listeners, if you haven't already, please go ahead in a farewell gift to Terry Weezy, buy his book.
Join the book club.
Join the book club. Support him. Unclaimed Ashes at Amazon.com.
I was going to say also make sure to go to the Worst Ones podcast on YouTube, like and subscribe, follow us on Spotify and Apple podcasts and iTunes and all those other things. They help so tremendously you couldn't imagine.
And shout out our producer at RHESA _ and the letter G.
Shout out Crimson.
Shout out Crimson.
What up, Risa? Congratulations. I hope yours is healthy and happy just like mine is.
He is. He's so cute.
Good.
So, well, we thank you guys once again for joining us each and every week. Myself, Kellie, and Janessa will be back next week. But we would say farewell once again to Terry. Good luck to you, sir.
I will be asking around looking for a suitable replacement. Somebody who I feel could fill these shoes. And then I will be texting you I will be texting you my recommendations. And I already have one in mind. I just want to vet them to make sure they're going to be a good replacement.
Tell him this is an interview. It's not a shoe-in. It's an interview.
And he's not. And by the way, I don't know if he's a pastor's kid. I'm going to check. But he is. He is entering. He is entering the seminary. That's the thing.
That's not what this is. This is not a quality. Okay. Well, thank y'all so much for listening and watching. We are the Worst Ones. We love you guys, and until next time.
For the last time.
Top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world. Top of the world. Yeah, top of the world.